Delaware County's only live television newscast from Ball State University's Unified Media Newsroom. You're watching NewsLink Indiana Midday.
Welcome to NewsLink Indiana Midday. I'm Trent Turner. A bitterly divided Washington is headed for its third government funding lapse of President Trump's second term. This time, a shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security over the issue of federal immigration enforcement. DHS is the last federal agency without funding for the remainder of the 2026 fiscal year. Amanda Sansoni is in Washington to break down what's behind the latest federal funding fight and what it means for the DHS.
The Department of Homeland Security is on the brink of a shutdown after Democratic senators voted to block a bill to fund the agency Thursday.
The motion is not agreed to.
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem blamed Democrats, saying they put national security at risk.
This is a dangerous situation that we're in.
But out of power, Democrats are attempting to use the limited legislative leverage they have in an effort to force changes to immigration and customs enforcement operations. Among the demands, restrictions on roving patrols, more use of judicial warrants, tougher use of force policies, and requirements for agents to wear body cameras and remove their masks.
Unless there are really strong, meaningful reforms to rein in ICE and stop the violence, there will not be Democratic votes.
Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson says the White House is negotiating with Democratic leadership and says it's unclear to him what they hope to gain.
The ICE funding is already done for the entirety of the Trump administration, so they're not affecting that in any way.
But ICE is among the agencies that would in part be impacted by a DHS shutdown, in addition to other critical divisions, including FEMA, TSA, and the U.S. Coast Guard. However, Noem said last fall that 70,000 law enforcement personnel, including in CBP, ICE, and other divisions, would receive their paychecks. With the Senate out on a week-long recess, the department could be shuttered for at least 11 days, unless an agreement is reached and members return for a vote. In Washington, I'm Amanda Sansoni.
An IU professor has been arrested on charges of child solicitation. Indiana Public Broadcasting reports that Bloomington police arrested James Self, the IU Economics Director of Undergraduate Studies, Thursday morning. This arrest is in connection with an October undercover operation by the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office in Florida, Bloomington. Police say that Self reached out on social media to an investigator posing as a 14-year-old boy and asked for nude photographs and also sent nude photographs of himself. A former CNN anchor, Don Lemon, is expected to appear in a Minnesota courtroom Friday. The independent journalist will be arraigned on charges related to a protest at a church in St. Paul. Prosecutors say he was a part of a takeover-style attack where protesters entered the sanctuary during a service. He will face 2 federal charges related to the violating First Amendment rights. Lemon insists he was only covering the protests and did not participate. He has vowed to fight the case. A big shakeup is about to occur as one fast food restaurant is now promising not to nuke anything.
Located right in between Muncie and Yorktown, Lowry's Homemade Candies has been in business since 1941. But what has customers coming in the door over shopping at convenience stores is the origin of these treats. Charles Joseph is the current president of the operation, contributing to his family's legacy.
In 1963, my grandfather was approached by his first cousin, Dee Lowry, to sell the business, and she had begun the business in 1941. They were located in downtown Muncie. He was a realtor at the time, and he always wanted to buy a farm. And to this day, I talk to him quite often about it, and he picked to buy the candy business.
The chocolate begins as a 10-pound bar, with its recipe created by D. Henry Roller, originating back to the 1920s.
We still hand dip every single piece individually, where everybody else has switched over to modern equipment and Rover's kind of that chocolate waterfall. By continuing the old-fashioned tradition of hand dipping, our chocolates contain no preservatives, no extra oils or minerals, And so that taste shines through in the quality of the ingredients.
Behind me is not the kind of machinery that you would see in a modern chocolate shop. This wheel rotates the chocolate and keeps it warm so that each individual piece can be hand dipped.
And learning all the temperatures and ins and outs and all the different marks we make, and there's a lot to it. It's a lot to be learned.
Creations include a variety of ingredients and come in many shapes and sizes. In Muncie, Allison Brannicky, NewsLink, Indiana.
What better way to work off the sweets than to walk it off? Muncie Mission's annual Walk a Mile fundraiser is around the corner, bringing hope to the community, and you might want to bundle up and wear your good shoes. NewsLink Indiana Kamara Munn has insight on who's playing to bring the competition.
If you live in Muncie, I'm sure you've seen signs like this all around the city promoting the fundraiser Walk a Mile. And whether you've contributed once, twice, or not at all, I spoke with someone who's made it their mission to participate for the last 17 years. Excuses don't exist to her. She's a workaholic, a mom of 10, grandmother of 17, and apparently,
that woman is a fundraising machine.
76-year-old Mary Ipple began volunteering at Muncie Mission around 17 years ago. She immediately made her mark with her compassionate personality.
She's like everybody's favorite grandma.
Most of her motherly love is shown through her activity in the Liberty Street Recovery Program for men.
They could be my child that just made bad decisions.
She agrees that her loving instinct is heavily influenced from the thought of her own children.
I always come in and think, you could be my kid, so I'm going to act like your mother.
Lee Edwards, Muncie Mission's VP of Community Engagement, tells us Ipple's spirit uplifts other workers.
It's pretty hard to be discouraged, down, feel sorry for yourself when you're around Mary because she has risen above so many challenges.
Those challenges like none other. After being diagnosed with severe pancreatitis, Ipple was on the verge of death.
They told my husband there was nothing they could do after a few days and he should call the family.
After asking for prayers from the community, a miracle happened.
And a surgeon came in and said to my husband, there is one more thing we can do.
The procedure led to yet another barrier.
They had to put me on a lot of medicine that took the blood away from my fingers and my legs,
resulting in amputation of both her legs and several fingers. A year after surgery, Ipple was ready to return to Walk a Mile, and the community couldn't wait to welcome her back. A group of middle school girls started planning.
They said, we're going to wear tutus and we're going to call ourselves Mary's Merry Marchers.
Mary's Merry Marchers is still active today in the Walk a Mile fundraiser, bringing in crazy numbers.
She has been an active and avid fundraiser for us and has raised probably well over $100,000.
For Ipple, she's on the receiving end, no matter how much she gives out.
I'm the one that walks away with a blessing from being here.
Ipple is still accepting new marchers, and for any inquiries, reach out to Mary Ipple on Facebook. In Muncie, Kamara Munn, NewsLink, Indiana.
You can join Mary Ipple next Saturday, February 21st. Doors open at 8 a.m. outside the Muncie Fieldhouse. Let's take a look at today's NewsLink Indiana weather. These are the conditions right now. It's 40 degrees under mostly sunny skies. Expect lots of sunshine today with a high close to 50 degrees. Things will really warm up in the 7-day forecast. We will flirt with 60 degrees for several days next week. The next chance of rain is this Sunday. And that's your NewsLink webcast for today. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to join us tonight at 6:57 on Ball State PBS, and for news anywhere, anytime, go to cardinalmediabsu.com.